Welcome back to Sunless Sea Zubmariner. Part 9 of our current Zubmariner series. Today I'm going to attempt a little bit different trade route than we've tried before. This is a fairly extensive trade route. There are multiple stages to make it happen, but it has very, very high potential to be extremely profitable. So let's get into the game and explain what I'm talking about. Your sonar will indicate the direction of any ports nearby. So if you are underwater and you're traveling with your sonar in your submarine, it will reveal the map very similarly to how the Z-Bat does when you're on the surface. Alright. Do we have anything new? Turned some of these things in earlier. I don't see anything here that I need to do, so perhaps not. I'm pretty sure that we've turned in everything, and you can see we actually made some money for once. This last trip, selling the coffee was really profitable. I have a feeling we can do even better, and I'm going to explain how we go about doing that. But before I can make that happen, I need to get rid of all my terror. I can do that a couple of different ways. We can go to our lodging. This costs us 100 echoes, but we lose 15 terror. So that's one way we can get almost to zero. There might be a few other things we can do. A new recruit. 50 echoes for the brisk campaigner. A doctor who will increase hearts and iron. I'm not super excited about the brisk campaigner. Irons are always good, and having an extra doctor might not be bad. 50 echoes? Sure. We'll pick her up. So now, let's see. This one gives hearts and iron of 6. She gives hearts and iron of 3, so she's just not as good as the Clatterier. She does have an interesting quest that you can achieve, but you need mud or salt to start it, and we're not going to be doing that at the moment. So it's kind of a waste. There is a chance at some point that we might lose the Clatterier. She's a pretty good doctor. In the quest to retrieve the Clatterly heart, you will lose the heir potentially. There is a way to keep both, but it's more difficult to do. So, we might do that at some point if people are interested. You'll just have to let me know in the comment section which of my officers you want me to pursue first in terms of the quest lines. We're probably going to save most of that for my next playthrough, though. We'll see. We'll see how far we get in this one. This captain has been very lucky so far. But I think we've done just about everything we can do over here. Let's check our hold, which we did not do last time. Okay, I've got 2 Scintillac. I need to do something with this Scintillac. I'm debating what that something is. We needed Scintillac for a couple of things. We need 1 Scintillac when we go to Rack to give it as a gift to the Fair King. So we should probably hold on to at least one of these. The other one I think we could sell at the Rose Market. However, since we sold something at the Rose Market recently, it might not still be available. Scintillac might swap out for a new item. And I'm not 100% certain of that. So let's talk a little bit about this trade route that I'm interested in pursuing. The trade route is specifically going to be using rack as a way to obtain basically free coffee. And the way we're going to go about doing that is if we have 0 terror, we can travel basically along Venderbite or Hunter's Rock to Abbey Rock. Either way, we can basically use the land of Station 3, Abbey Rock, the Shepherd Isles, these little islands here. We can basically get to Demew Island with almost 0 terror. That will allow us to gather a whole bunch of supplies. Those supplies can then be taken down to Gator's Morn. In Gator's Morn, we could normally sell them, but we're not going to. What we're going to do is then travel from Gator's Morn to Rack, and at Rack, for every 3 supplies that we've collected, we can basically get 1 bag of coffee. Now, we're not going to be able to fill our entire coffee allotment with this, so we'll probably have to head down to Port Carnelian and finish buying coffee down here. But then we can head back through the Grand Geo, the Iron Republic, to the Cuman Canal, and we can sell all of that free coffee and then the ones that we purchased at very profitable rates in Vienna. We can come back with a bunch of supplies, and we can do it again. Supplies, remember, only cost us 5, and so we can use a bunch of supplies, go to Rack, get a bunch of coffee, and immediately come back and do it again. The only thing that we're going to have trouble with is obtaining the fuel, but the Iron Republic basically alleviates that quite a bit, and it's very close to the Cuman Canal. And it's basically the cheapest fuel that you can get in the game, other than free fuel. So what we're going to try to do is run this route like twice and see how much money we can make. Once we've made enough money, we can possibly look at upgrading our ship, or pursuing, one of the quest lines that gives us a better ship. But one thing to keep in mind about this trade route, very similar to the trade route with the salt lions, is this route will not last forever. There is a limited number of times that you can run coffee to Vienna before they stop buying it from you. So you have to be aware of that. But I think we can do this quite a few times. Now the real question is it even worth going to Demew to get the free supplies and then coming to Rack? And I think the answer is probably yes. If we do go all the way out to Demew, we probably also want to sell wine in Godfall and grab Claymen and Polytheme. Come back to London, maybe? I'm not sure. Grab the coffee here on our way back to London. And then head to Rack. No. Venderbite. To Abbey Rock, to Station 3, to Demew, to Godfall, to Polytheme, Gator's Morn, to Rack. We'll just have to see. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. But I do know that I want to go to Demew with as little terror as possible. I could lose some terror by talking to the guys here, and so I think I'm going to do that. We could also like get a dusty glass of wine. It's not a very effective way to remove terror. Oh, we could visit the Jonah. That usually will lose us a couple points of terror. So let's go do the Vengeance of Jonah. That'll be good. Alright, we have 5 supplies at the moment. That's probably fine. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn around and come back, because we can get some free echoes. Let's see. Let's go to the shops. And let's go to the Woolstack Exchange, and let's just buy a bunch of mushroom wine. Firkins of Prisoner's Honey. Buy for 25 here. We can also trade a supply in rack to get these. If we find somewhere else where these are useful, trading supplies at basically free or as cheap as 20 is not a bad way to go. But yeah, let's go ahead and buy a bunch of mushroom wine real quick. Alright, so this isn't going to net us very many echoes. But anytime you head up to Vendor Bite, if you have free cargo space, you might as well buy wine. Because you can sell wine in Vendor Bite for a slight profit. It's not very much, but it is something. We will not hit low Barnet this time. Not sure if we'll make it. Yeah, we've gained a little bit of terror, but not much. If this bat swarm keeps following us, we'll probably kill it on our way out. And they did not. Alright, cool. So we gained like 1 point of terror. Maybe 2. Vengeance of Jonah. A matter of luck. You need 5 terror, we have 4. So I can't even go to the Vengeance of Jonah. But I can sell this for 2 echoes apiece. So that's a clean 20-something echoes that we just made. Just for traveling from here to there. Shops. Hollow Temple. We can go ahead and explore. The Neath is rarely gentle. Treat this place as enemy territory or picnic. 1 supply. Sure, let's have a picnic. We've lost 2 terror. We've lost 1 supply. That's fine. Let's head to Abbey Rock. And then across Station 3 to Danu. Trying to avoid collecting terror as much as possible. Keep the terror down. Need that bar completely empty. We head out across this little way here. Alright, so let's make sure we're So from here, I guess straight across to the Shepherd's Isle, we can hit that light on the way. And once we get to that light, we'll be fine. Might have to kill this jellyfish. Cool, scoop it up, free supply. Alright, so from here, we can get to Shepherd's Isle. Or we can wait for the lighthouse. Alright, and then off to Daru. Get to that part of the island. Station 3. Using full engine power. We're only going to gain 1 point of terror for that entire trip. Very nice. Alright, so the first thing we'll do is tea with the factor. This should lower terror and give us 1 free supply. And then compile a port report. And then we can do this as many times as it will allow us to do. This will give us 50 terror, but that's fine because we're going to Vienna where we're going to lose all of this terror. So this is one way to really... we want to check our hold. We have 19 more spaces, so we will very unlikely to get 19 supplies before we collect 50 terror. Okay, and now this is locked, so we can't do any more. So how many did we end up with? Roughly like 10. 9 or 10 free supplies. I can buy 1. How many supplies is it going to take to get to Rack? A couple. If we head straight to Rack, it's going to be more difficult. Probably head south to Gatorsmore. I won't be buying supplies in Gatorsmore, and I won't be doing anything else there, so maybe there is no reason to go to Gatorsmore. Maybe we just head straight to Rack. In that case... I'll buy 2 of these. And if we're just going straight to rack, ore supplies, excellent. Even better. Alright, so we're gonna get 6 free coffee, basically. Roughly. Okay. Alright, that's unfortunate. We only lost 19 hull, but we are down to 26 hulls, so we are dangerously close to being in trouble. We're also very close to rack. Things are looking okay. We have to be really careful. We could spend some of our extra supplies. Okay, we can go ahead and do this. The wreckers fear and adore their king. With the right offering, you may be able to meet them. The rusted walls behind him are draped with 2 banners made of the tattooed flesh of his amputated legs. He is admiring the scintillac through a jeweler's lens as you enter. "We are pleased. Tell me," he says, looking at you. "How would you—" Good God! He wheels toward you. His voice is hoarse. "We are not strangers, you and I. Taste the tether and see for yourself. You are acquainted with the fair king." There is a weed that grows on the broken ships. To taste it is a privilege reserved for successful wreckers. Let's go ahead and get a port report. And let's consider the state of the city and go to the shops, where we can now buy dark drop coffee beans. Now we want to be careful because we have 19 supplies and we need to keep enough of these. But I think 5 ought to do it. That'll give us 4 supplies. So I can do 5. So 5 coffee. That's not a terrible price. I wonder if I'm doing this wrong. Well, we'll go ahead and do it this way for now, but something just occurred to me. Coffee buys for 38 echoes in Port Carnelian. These supplies give me a coffee, but I could also sell 3 supplies for 66 echoes and then just buy the coffee that way. That actually makes more profit per supply that we picked up for free. And that might be the better way to do it in the future. Sell the supplies here, take the echoes to Port Carnelian. I'll have to keep that in mind. Is there any more of the story we want to do? We can go wrecking, we can eavesdrop, we can visit the Royal Hall, taste the tether. Let's go ahead and taste the tether. Within the rusted innards of a broken battleship, the wreckers keep the tether. It is guarded by heavy bulwarks and priests capable of launching cannonballs across a room with their bare hands. It is the glory of Rak. Within the sanctum, where no water drips, are walls, doors, and a pedestal of trinkets. It is watched over by a stony matron. Make an offering of scrap, and you may choose. We don't have any scrap. Alright. Perhaps another time. I'm not real keen on doing anything else here at the moment. We'll come back and take a look at this some other time. What I really want to do is get to Port Carnelian and finish buying coffee, so that we can then head to the Iron Republic. On our way south, we should probably visit the Reef of Roses and Rosegate. Because we do have an item for that character. So it's south. The question is, do I want to go to this? The answer is yes. While it's dangerous to be on the surface, especially with our hull as low as it is, our terror is getting quite high, and the constant command is going to start chasing us. I should be able to manage some of this terror by bouncing off these rocks. Resupply. Alright, how are we doing? We're getting close to the Rose Reefs. We can lose some terror by smoking cigars. That's actually pretty cheap. Underwater we go. Oh, that's not good. Okay, well, the Rose Reef is gonna have to wait. We needed something for the Isle of Cats as well. Oh, we need to go to the Cuman Canal. Well, we're going to eventually go to the Cuman Canal, but perhaps we get a port report first. Yeah, nothing to buy here. So this will give us our best chance to get across here without gaining a point of terror. We'll get right there and no further. That's unfortunate. It's just a little bit too far with these engines to travel for 0 terror, but we'll only gain the 1 point on our way in, which is fine. And to port. We have 6 fuel left. Fulfill your spy's needs. Yes, we don't have romantic literature, but we can seek another opportunity. So maybe something else. Old enemies. Your agent sets 2 entrenched networks against each other, then takes advantage of their furtive struggle to set up shop. She observes their conflict with professional interest, sending back detailed reports. You've succeeded in a Veil's challenge, you've lost 1 network. You've gained 2 moves in the Great Game. Your networks and opportunity, Port Carnelian quality, has gone. You've gained 1 networks in Port Carnelian. New total is 2 shops. We want to buy 15 or 16 of coffee. Let's go ahead and buy 16. Supplies. I'll buy 1, 2. That should be enough. Hold. This is a problem. These items are taking up space that I need for fuel and supplies to get. 24. So I'm going to have to sell 2 of my coffee. Dang. Where else could I sell the coffee? I want to get some of my money back. I think I would have to go all the way to London. Maybe that's not the worst idea. With our hull being as low as it is, we can sell 2 of the bags of coffee, or I can sell the other items and free up the space we need. Alright, I think we're going to go straight to the Iron Republic. It's too risky to go to the Grand Geode. I don't have the terror to roll the dice on that anyways. And we don't have a lot of fuel. Nor do we really have a lot of port reports. I'm actually not too worried about fuel at this point because we're going to a place where we can buy it really cheaply. So we'll run our lights to keep our terror from getting out of control. Alright, the Iron Republic. We'll buy all the fuel we can. And then it's off to the Cuman Canal. Now, unfortunately, I won't have the fuel to do that, and I can't. So we're going to have to just get a port report there this time around and then come back. Gained 5 terror and 20 fragments. I'm really leery about how damaged our hull is. Once again, I'm not sure if my save games are working quite right, because I feel like we should have more hull than that. I thought I repaired my hull a little bit, but it's not looking that way. Ooh, a strange catch. We needed that for something. For several somethings, if I'm not mistaken. This port report isn't worth much because it's so close to London. But we can also get that. And a gift for the Pirate King. Ah, yes. We did need to go here. A Veils challenge. Let's get our Vales officers in place. 8 Vales is better than her 6. Alright. A tough challenge. You succeeded. Gained 5 terror, unfortunately. Okay. Well, we have another item in our hold we need to get rid of, but I think I know how to do that. So yeah, this little trip did not go quite according to plan. Suppose we could go to Mutton Island. There should be a crab over here. Just in time to save us on a supply. Points of terror, no big deal. We'll get rid of most of it. Explore the shore. Chat with the fishermen. Oh. Curious. Low risk pages challenge. Okay, that's all we need to do here. No, not what I wanted to do. Supplies from going out. Got the port report. Yeah, let's just get to London. Fix our hull. Get our terror back under control. I'm not really worried about the terror one way or another because we're going to Vienna, but and so the one thing you got to remember about this game is whatever plans you make need to be flexible, and you need to have multiple options. A breath of relief. Collect our messages. Take a payment across the ocean. Sure. He wants me to go to Poly 3. That's fine. Strange catch. We could drop that off here. Let's see. start at my lodgings. We got 5 of those, 1 of those, 5 of those, 4 of those. We'll go ahead and do another one of these. Z Fever is now 29. Here we go. Your child wants to sign on with a ship already, but time passes quickly, and most quickly on the Unterzee. How many years have you been at Z? Don't ask. Time operates slyly out in the dark. Permit it, a family tradition. If your child survives, many sailors don't. You of all people know that. This is how you gain a scion, allowing your next captain to choose 2 legacies. Forbid it. You know what happens at Z. No child of yours will risk that. But will they listen? This will reassure you, setting terror to 0 and reducing nightmares, a high-risk challenge. We're going to go ahead and take the scion. This is a permanent thing. Once you have one, you'll never lose it. So we won't have to do this again. All is well for now. New Year's Day, 1809. Quartermaster's Assistant of Legal Age signed a recommendation of legal guardian. Give equal treatment. You have a scion. When you die, the next generation may take up the torch. In the meantime, they will still live at home. Probably. One of the downsides to this option is that, when this triggers, is that we now lose the ability to just dump our terror. We used to be able to talk to our children every day, and or every time we come back with something awaits us, and drop 20 terror. We won't be able to do that any longer. We can do this, though, and that'll give us down 15, which is fine. It's kind of expensive, but... let's visit our study for a moment. Did one of these require? Yes, this one. 7 strange catches for the trophy case. We won't be doing that. So I think I am going to go ahead and sell the strange catch here. That didn't give us very much, but that's okay. And then... ooh, interesting. So these did swap since we purchased one. We have 4 of these, so I'll go ahead and sell one of them here. This is 75 echoes. We can go to the shops. And at the Wolfstack Exchange, I can sell Parabola linen for 60. We can get a better price at a few other places, but I'm probably not going that far on this particular voyage. So I'll go ahead and sell that here, and then we can sell the Scintillac for 70. These are generally fair prices. They're rarely the best price that you can sell something for in the game, but they're pretty fair. You're not going to get ripped off selling things here, generally speaking. The one exception, or a couple of exceptions, fuel. There's a lot of places where you can sell fuel and supplies at much higher rates. But most of the other things pretty much sell for reasonable prices, within a couple echoes. Wine, obviously, you wouldn't want to sell wine here. Okay, so now we have the cargo space we need. If I check my hold, we need 22 fuel and a few food supplies. A gift for the Pirate King. Is this taking up a hull? Is this taking up a cargo spot? Oh, I sure hope not. It doesn't have a number next to it. But I can say it. Well, I can add these up, right? So that's... yes, it is. Because this is 33, if I'm not mistaken. That's 33, and 1 is 34. Crap. So I'm going to have to go to the Pirate King first before I can do my coffee run. I guess the other option is I could just sell the coffee in London and start over. Do this whole thing again, but is that really what we want to do? We do make money selling it here, we just don't make nearly as much. No, I don't think I will. We don't need to hire more crew, but we do need to get some repairs done. And since we're really, really low, I'm going to go ahead and use some Admiralty's favor and get the cheap repairs back to full. That should be fine. Alright, so I can purchase some things here. I'm probably going to need to purchase some supplies. They're going to be cheaper here than anywhere else. But I don't want to purchase too many of them, because we have to have exactly 2 when we hit the Cuman Canal. Alright, so from here, I need to talk to him. We're not going to have a lot of these, but we might as well turn these in. Get a little bit of fuel. Here we go. We've got a new one in Wither. Strategic information from Wither. And okay. So there's not a whole lot else to do here, I don't believe. The Brass Embassy, no. Ooh. Yes, we should do this. That'll give us more vital intelligence that we can use somewhere else for our spy network. Did I read the paper? It looks like that's not an option, so... Okay, I think we're ready. What does our hold look like? We're in pretty good shape. So I need to go all the way down here again. And I also need to go to Wither, and I also need to go to Polythree. Maybe we do go ahead and make this loop instead of trying to go to the Cuman Canal. I gotta think. Is that really what I want to do? If we do that, then we should buy wine. Yeah, alright. Let's go to the shops. Let's go to... We'll stack exchange. We'll make some money off of these coffees. Not as much as we could make, but that's fine. You can see we're at over 5,000 echoes from that little trip, even though we didn't do very well. We still made money, and this is why it's important to always carry something that you can trade for a profit from port to port. just to make up those little bits of differences when you do make a mistake. So we didn't make a lot of money selling that wine and vendor bite, but we made 20 echoes. That basically buys us an extra supply. Something like that can pay off. Let's go ahead and actually, we're not at 5,000 echoes, I forgot. 1,000 echoes of this is from the Blind Bruisers, so we actually didn't make any money. We're sitting right around 4,500. I think we were at 4,600 when we left port. So we actually lost a few echoes in that exchange. But that's not surprising. Okay, so this time we're going to buy mushroom wine and we'll buy a few more supplies maybe. I can only buy 15 mushroom wine. If I manage to move some things out of my hold, that's probably fine. And then we'll buy 2 more supplies, and that should be good. Okay, so we're going to head north to Wither. We'll pick up our strategic information there. Head to Mount Palmerston, refuel. Head to the Chapel of Lights. Get some more food. Head to Demuth, see if we can maybe get some free supplies. Then maybe to Port Cecil, Godfall, Polythene, pick up the Blind Bruisers requirement. From there, I'm not sure where we'll go from there, to be perfectly honest. We'll have to see what supplies look like. Let's go ahead and get on the way. This is going to be a long trip. We're already an hour into this one, and my original plan has already been shot to heck. But I did get to demonstrate how you can get a whole bunch of free supplies from the funging station, which I've talked about a number of times and never actually pulled off. We can go ahead and visit Low Barnet just for a free port report. We don't have any to trade in. But that's fine. Port report. We're not going to do anything else here. We're not going to buy anything at the shops. We're just going to leave. If I want to make sure that my terror's not too high, I'm either going to have to travel along the coast or travel with lights on, or both. Two supplies. We can go ahead and do something we haven't done before, which is I can press R. As long as our hull's at 50% or better, and we can repair 5 hull with 1 supply. You can see it does cause us to stop temporarily, but you can also repair your hull with a bunch of free supplies, so that's another way to take advantage of supplies, which is nice. Alright, free supply there as well. Let's go ahead and visit Jonah, reduce our hunger and our terror. 2 colonies. Port report and explore the city. Interesting. A little chapel stands alone. You poke your head through the door. The walls are a deep red, just this side of scarlet. A ruby-tinted window at the back glows with steady light. An electric lamp behind the glass? Rare and expensive, but this is no gaslight. No one is here, and yet you have the sensation that only a moment ago someone must have been. Mirrors challenge that we're very likely to pass, or pay 1 echo. Let's go ahead and do the mirrors challenge. You were successful in a mirrors challenge. There is an altar, a block of basalt. There are pews, a pulpit, no Bibles, no hymn books, the stained glass window in the red of a cochneo. An inscription on the litany of the door reads, "For I was a hungered, and ye gave me meat." That is all. Your crew are eager to leave. No one looks back. Alright, up to vendor bite. And we'll get this free supply. When you're too close to port and you try to engage the combat, it often does that to you. The reason I'm slowing down here is to basically drop my terror bar a little bit more. It does cost me a little bit in the way of supplies, but it keeps my terror and my fuel under control by not running lights. Alright, we'll pick up our strategic information here. Ooh. A riddling contact. This will use up the fragments. You need mirrors of 75. Even by swapping to my mirrors officers. Nobody else gives more mirrors. 6. We're nowhere near 75. So yeah, that's not a big deal. Let's just get our veils back up. I am running the fuel efficiency from the chief engineer. This is slowing us down slightly, but it is making us a little bit more fuel efficient. Alright, back to Wither. We'll do this one. We have 1 strategic information. Explore the town. We now have Storm's attention. Gather intelligence. We have our port reports. Shore leave and wither. Terror's only 15. I'm not going to spend a bunch of echoes on this. There are better places to reduce terror. We don't need supplies. We don't need fuel. We just need to keep moving. Get another port report at Codex. Ow. Compile a port report. And off to Mount Palmerston. We also have Anthe, which is very close, the Shepherd Isles and Abbey Rock. There's a lot of port reports in that area, but I think we're heading further out, so we don't want to be wasting fuel. Trying to stretch out my terror consumption here as much as possible. I do like the music for Mount Palmerston, it's pretty cool. Go up to the crater. The Deviless is gone. What now guards the gates? A vile hive. When you come inside of the cottage, you think for a moment that it's been overgrown with glistening black ivy. A few more steps and you notice the ivy is shifting in the wind. Before you realize that, as is generally the case underneath, there is no wind to speak of. The ivy heaves like the sea, and the closest portion suddenly lifts and dissolves. The air is filled with a deep and savage buzzing. A cloud of great black bees rises above the cottage, extends a limb in your direction. You back away. You do not run. You have gained 1 terror and 14 fragments. Let's get our port report. We have 6 supplies. It only took us 2 supplies to get all the way up here. We did get bats and a few other things along the way, so it took us a little more than that actually, but let's go ahead and stock up on fuel. And then let's head to the Chapel of Lights. Off to the Chapel of Lights. Where the food it tastes so nice. Yeah, lifebergs are kind of scary. They hit you extremely hard when they do hit you. The Chapel of Lights is completely immersed in fog, which sucks. And it means that I can't improve my terror to the green level. I can only get it to yellow by moving along the shoreline. This is a tad frustrating. Alright, well, we'll grab a port report and we'll eat, although our hunger is only at 8. A low-risk challenge. 5 supplies, but we only have 5, so we're not going to be doing that. Okay, what else do I want to do? Frostfound is over here. That's actually a really cool place to go, but not really somewhere we need to go. Where I need to go is Godfall and Polythene. And the best way to get there is probably going south, past the Bonny Reefs, to Demew, and then to Godfall. I'm tempted to do this underwater, because there's definitely some underwater places we haven't visited yet. And maybe one of them is nearby. I love how the music sounds like you're underwater. Kind of has a weird bathroom echo. Got 50 oxygen. What is that? I don't want to fight that. Tea with the factor, we can get up to 3 supplies. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Very good. Okay, so from here we can head down to Gator's Mourn and I can uncover some more of the map while I do it. And then we can head over to Godfall, or I could go straight to Godfall. I think we'll just go straight to Godfall, because I don't get a port report at Gator's Mourn right now. My veils aren't really high enough to pull that off reliably. It's a pretty dicey challenge. If you get your veils high enough, you can do it, and it's not too bad. But if you don't have good veils, it's definitely dicey to do it too. I should probably do it at least once, or at least attempt to do it at least once, just to get the Admiralty's favor for that one, but oh, nice. Got a little bit of light from the lighthouse. And over to Godfall. Alright, we can close that out for a moment. Alright. Godfall. Selling the wine. We got 150. 150 and 150. Get a port report. Don't have any hunting trophies, and we don't have any foxfire candles, so we won't be doing anything else here. Alright, so from here to Daunt, and then to Polythene. And if I had had one extra wine, we could have visited Nook, but I didn't grab an extra wine. We opted for the extra supplies instead. Also, we're doing a pretty good job of keeping our terror under control this time, so I'm pretty happy about that. Daunt shouldn't be too far from here. In fact, it's very close to here. That's interesting. Moving along the edge of a port city does give us the green terror bar. That's good. Assemble a port report. This will always generate a port report, but the contents may vary. Wander and look, make no commitments. Stay a while. Note this is easy to gain terror in Daunt. Yeah, we'll just do this again. And we've lost 10 terror. Very nice. Shops. We could buy more fuel. Supplies are in pretty good order. At 10 apiece, this is one of the cheaper ports to buy fuel out here. We do have 12. I'm not sure that we're going to find fuel much cheaper this far out. So the question is... also, do they have a shipyard? They do not. Okay. I've got 20 slots. I could buy a lot of fuel if I wanted to. Alright, so this is kind of where we need to figure out what we're doing. Are we going to go and explore some of this unexplored territory? There's still a fair bit of map that we need to uncover. If we are going to do that, then we're probably going to want to buy more fuel. because I don't know where the next place to get fuel is. I do know we can get more supplies here, and sometimes more supplies and more fuel here. But not too many other places. There's nowhere to buy wine out here either, unfortunately, so you kind of have to make sure you bring it from London to get into Nook. Well, we don't have to decide right this second. So if I get close to this wall, will it go green? It does not go green. But if I surface, it should. It's only the port cities that it goes green. That's good to know. The Zonar has picked up an underwater settlement a long way to the south. It's probably this one here. So we should go check that out. That kind of sets our next bit of the agenda in place. And it looks like we are going to make a big loop to the south. Alright, gather intelligence, gather our cargo. The clayman swallows the coins in your hand in handfuls for safety, not out of appetite, you assume, and hands you a crate of whispering souls. Human? The souls back home are all but silent. Perhaps these are the souls of chairs, hats, swords. That's polytherm for you. Alright, just carry Clayman to London while we're at it, and we will not be doing anything else here. So off to south, where there is an underwater city, so I'm told, according to my Zonar. It pays to pay attention to your logbook every now and then. You do get useful information from there. Alright, let's go ahead and dive. Okay. I'm fighting against the current. That's not good. Ow. Shimshander. We needed to go to Shimshander for somebody, so that's good. Entering Shimshander, before you looms the bone tower of Shimshander, the city of remembrance. Ivory structures jut from the pile, supported by buttressing tusks. As light plays across them, you can make out inscriptions, names, pictures, and dozens of lost languages. The largest ones carry a warning. All are welcome to enter, but none may depart without leaving something of themselves behind. Accept the price at the dock. Beware, you will have to pay a price to depart from Shimshander. Keep sailing. No reason to commit yourself. We need to go here, so... A drowny floats before the dock gate of a bone cathedral. She wears a cowl and carries a ceremonial key carved from a femur. At your approach, she sings a solemn greeting. Soldier, scholar, servant of art, history's welcome without toll. But be warned ere you depart, no one who enters escape whole. A cowed crew. The guardian unlocks the ivory gates. Steel glints in her fingers as she carves an image of your ship into her massive bone key. Your brave crew decides to remain on the ship as you disembark for the tower's dry center. Alright, deliver the monastic drowning. Your silent passenger is transfixed by the murals, eyes wide and mouth agape. His unrepeatable exclamation is the first word you've heard from him. A flood of words. Something within the monastic drowning has been unloosed at the sight of such sweeping histories. After such a long time silent, he is eager to share his own smaller stories until he can earn his own bone quill. You are his captive audience. The coins he gives you are valuable, but not as much as the tales that tumble out of him. We've gained 50 echoes and 5 Z stories, which is nice. Gather at the stage of history, delve into the ivory archives, compile a port report. Yes, let's do this as well. A modest challenge. You've succeeded. A bandaged monk sits attempting to carve a tale with a steel-tipped quill. This is not work for a trembling hand. A day dictated. The monk describes a day in the life of a tomb colonist, while you wield the quill. Its nib carves the bone easily, as if it were mushroom flesh. The tale is dry, but he insists it to be recorded for posterity. Few tomb colonists come to share their tales. A historical blind spot, he laments at length. When the work is finished, he invites you to see further tales in the ivory archives as his guests. Delve into the archives. You will want enough time in the archives to explore and return afterwards. At least 5 points is recommended, but more will allow deeper exploration. Do not overstay your welcome, it will not be pleasant. We have 2. Let's see if we can get to 5. Okay. Narrow passages wind through the old city, shadowed ever descending. You walk alone, except for the constant remains of those who came before you, each bearing their sad small tales. They all end the same way. They all end here. Will you? The tales of the dead surround you. Each step buries you deeper in the past. 97% chance of success. Take it. What came before now? What terrors of yesterday led to today? We succeeded in a mirrors challenge. Heroism debunked. What have you discovered? Who have you uncovered? My master's name is cheered throughout the land, but none must know his terrible secrets. Oh my, such things simply are not done, especially not a leper colony. Or to a leper colony, although one assumes that would make it easier. You've lost 1. Shimshander History of Heroes. Okay. A tough challenge. Overstay your welcome. You can't stop now. You need to know what came before. Damn the costs. I see. Let's go ahead and leave. Gather at the stage of history. Scholars file quietly into a pair of great ivory doors at the far end of the hallway. When When they stumble out again, you can hear raised voices, arguments, and laughter. After the reverent silence of the outside, the boisterous noise of the amphitheater washes over you like the heavy sea beyond these walls. The stage of history. Actors strut in an amphitheater of bone, performing historical plays of dubious veracity. An audience watches from below, with each roaring drunk member applauding or jeering different details of the work. Above, an imperious figure, wearing a crown of ivory, judges each performance from a raised theater box. All are served by a single man, weaving between the crowd and wearing a perpetual smirk. Talk with the glib historian. Watch a dramatic reenactment. Trade coffee for time in the archives. Trade wine for time in the archives. Agree to search the archives for a hero. Leave the amphitheater. The mushroom wine he serves is stale. The plays he announces are questionable at best. But the impeccably bearded man with the olive skin laughs at every performance and has a smile for every patron. Warring theories on the stage of history. Some cheer history as the work of brave and inspired heroes, especially them who wish they would be heroes themselves. The glib historian rolls his eyes theatrically. Others say it's all shaped by cynical changes in scientific progress, economics, and such, but nothing gets in the way of a good story, quite like nuance. He spits out the word like a rotten grape. We let him argue up on the stage and give an ivory crown to whoever's most convincing at the moment. He waves a hand at the temporary monarch in the raised seat above. But far as I'm concerned, he confides, filling a patron's mug with cheap wine, history is what you make of it, and I make a killing. 50 echoes to watch in a reenactment. I don't want to spend too much more time here, so let's go ahead and prepare to leave. It does not look like there are any shops in Shimshander. Departing. Were there quite this many guards when you came in? Was there always a pile of fresh bones by the entrance? Okay. Interesting. Well, we can leave all kinds of things behind. Leave behind a story. You can always make more. So we got 5 Z stories. That will allow us to basically come here 5 times. Provide a transport for the scholar. A bandaged scholar stands near the exit, angrily brushing ash off of himself. As you approach, he brusquely demands passage to Hideaway. Of course he'll pay. Well, if he'll pay, then. He's studied remains of hundreds of wars and read 1,000 bitter ends. Now he seeks the survivors so he can interview them in person. He assures you he has purely academic interest. His life has been splendid personally. He merely wishes to see how they live with themselves. The scholar of lost causes grumbles as he settles into his bunk, ready for the trip to Hideaway. Not sure that we have... So we can leave behind a story, a hunting trophy. We can lose 1 iron, we can lose 1 heart, or we can lose a finger. Missing finger no more than 4. Ooh, that's brutal. Let's go ahead and give up a Z story. A block of memories. You take a deep breath of bittersweet incense and recount your tales. As you speak of a chronicler carves your words into the bricks of ash and bone powder. The bones quills scratching gates, and the incense stings your eyes, but you continue. By the time you've finished, your head aches, and the chronicler holds up a handful of bricks. Before you return to the ship, you examine one. It bears your name and a short tale, but it isn't a memory of yours. You'd remember anything that outlandish. Best to leave before you realize the mistake being made. You've lost 5 Z-story. New total is 4. What? 5? Wow. Okay. So it cost 5 Z-stories. I didn't notice that. I thought it was just 1. We will not be entering Shimshander, but we will look here. Okay. So there is shops when you get outside of it. Supplies are kind of pricey. Fuel is cheap. That's good to know. And we could buy lamentable relics here. I think I needed 7 of these. These are really cheap. That will give me 7. Okay, 7 lamentable relics. That's good. I could sell an unread log, but we need 1 of those, and we may need another one somewhere else. They don't take up inventory slots, so I'm not worried about them. Alright, so from Shimshander, where do we go? The Sea of Lilies is close. Then maybe to the east, and then south to Fathom King's Hold. That sounds reasonable. Our fuel is fine. And our supplies are okay. 10 1/2 fuel. Perhaps we should purchase some fuel. The next and closest place to purchase fuel is Adam's Way. Alright. How many fuel? 5? 5 ought to do it. I'll feel better with 5. Alright, off to the Sea of Lilies. This is very close, so we can probably pull right up to the dock. Yeah. Now the problem with this is we won't have something awaits us when we arrive, but there's nothing in Lily that I care for other than a port report. The City of Wisdom. This is the prison colony. There are some things you can do here, like ransom a prisoner or try to rescue a prisoner. You'll need high hearts or veils to pull that off. But you can always try with lower numbers. There is always a chance. We'll gather a port report, and there are shops here, but again, things are expensive here. No need to purchase them there when Shimshander is right below you. Okay, off to the east, and hopefully some new territory. There's definitely something in this space. We don't know what yet, but we will find out shortly. Also, sharks like to patrol these waters. We're doing a really good job on our terror this time around. I'm going to start sending my Z-Bat out since we're in new territory. Yeah, there's that shark I was talking about. Ah, I know what this is. This would be the Unterzee. We needed to come back here, but not without tether, which we don't have yet. Alright, something awaits us, that's good. The Untershroom, the queenly core of this spore-hunted sea. Climb the fungal fiber ladders to its summit. Shaggy, suspicious villagers scratching a living here amidst the endless clouds of spores and scurrying mobs of plant-animal hybrids. None of them ever leave. Monsters, one explains darkly. Z full of monsters. Let's visit the village. The Untershroom releases spores according to its own inscrutable schedule. Today, the air is soupy thick. They coat your hair, they clog your throat. They gather like sleep in the corners of your eyes. Conversation with the shroomers is impossibly hard. You return to the ship where you find a tiny purple mushroom growing already in your ear. You've gained 1 terror and 1 tale of terror. Gather intelligence. A slow survey. The villagers live a shabby but sufficient life the Untershroom provides. They are secretive, taciturn, incurious. Ships rarely visit. A gaggle of blemigans, purple tentacled fungus things, follows you down the rope to your ship, whistling cheerfully. Blemigans are vicious little monsters, usually, but the ones on the Untershroom seem friendly. If they trouble you, you could probably throw them overboard. You've gained 1 port report, and we now have 3 docile blemigans. Encourage your blemigan gallivanter to explore. It might feel a kinship with the place. It's certainly very mushroomy. If you don't remember, this is our Blemigan Gallivanter. It's made its home on a shelf in our cabin. It was built a nest of loose journal pages, the engineer's scarf, and possibly a pilfered map. We'll encourage him to go. Unaccustomed silence. Your ever-present Blemigan is, for once, nowhere to be seen. The engine room is quiet, your maps are exactly where you left them. Not one is defaced or crumpled into a ball. Finally, you spot the tip of a tendril poking out from under a pile of unwashed clothing. Your Blemigan indicates that under no circumstance whatsoever will it be emerging. What could be so bad about the Untershroom? Did the other mushrooms bully it? There are no shops or shipyard here, so off we go. Port in hand. South to the Fathom King's Hole. We have 4 Z stories. That would be reasonably wise. We could also head out east and uncover another tile. Perhaps find the Chelinate and the Gnat Pole. Those are usually over here. Let's go ahead and do that. While we have the ability to do so. I do like how the terrain is vertical. You can like sail under it, though it is sometimes confusing which terrain is which. I think I know what this is. This is an interesting little island, Estevel. This is another quest that I'm aware of that I've never actually managed to accomplish. It's one of the endgame quests. Estevel! Sun. A great beam of sunlight bathes the island. Squint into the dazzle. Far above, there's a hole in the roof. In that light, you see breaches of white gold sand. Trees heavy with bright fruit. The reds and blues and greens of the surface. Investigate the ruins. Gather supplies. Go beachcombing. Put a Blemmigan ashore. Or compile a port report. Let's go ahead and get our port report first. Write fast. The light scars. A burning afterimage. Your eyes water. The pages blur. The report is one of joy-filled complaint. Estevel has a beauty too bright to be appreciated, but perhaps the Admiralty can find something of use. Alright, we can gather supplies, which we should definitely do. The jungles here burst with life. If you're lucky, you might pick up treasures. More likely, you'll pick up bits of wood and occasional interesting arthropods. If we go beachcombing, or we can put the Blemmigan ashore. Fallen fruit enriches the soil. Perhaps this will give a timid mushroom strength to resist the sun's rays. Let's go ahead and gather supplies. Oh my! Exotic delights. You fill your stores with breadfruit, sugarcane, coconut, soft-shelled crabs, and plump birds. Too stupid to know a hungry sailor from a tree. But on the way back to the ship, one of your crew topples over with a groan. She's smiling blissfully. Go on, Captain, she says. I've missed the sun. Her eyes close. Sunlight is perilous for those who have lived in the Neath too long. You've gained 9 supplies, for a total of 14. That's all for now. You've lost 1 crew, for a total of 6. We'll have to be careful not to lose too many more crew. This is a great place to restock supplies, but it will come at the cost of crew, and I believe that is always the case. There are no shops here, by the way. But there is a unique quest, or a unique story, where you can actually colonize this island, which is pretty cool. That is a really nice find for us, because now we have 2 really great places to stock up on supplies. On this side of the map, which is something that we're often in short supply of by the time we've traveled all the way over here. So from here, we have a couple of options. We can hit the Empire of Hands, King Eater's Castle, Varkas, Adam's Way, or Empire of Hands, Fathom King's Hold, Melting Isles, Adam's Way. That's going to be more profitable for us because the Fathom King's Hold and the Melting Isles both have free goodies. Out of curiosity, what is our hold sitting at? We have 4 extra slots at the moment. Oh my, the Blemmigans actually take up space? Well, perhaps we should get rid of them. A nimble scuttle. It bounces swiftly across the sun-hot sand, using a minimum of tendrils on the scorching beach. Somewhat shriveled, it snuggles into the shade of a fruit-rich tree. It seems unwilling to go further. You've lost 1 docile Blemmigan. Propagation of Blemmigans abroad. Propagation of Estevel has been achieved. We could also investigate the ruins, which we have not done yet. There was some sort of installation here, and what looks like a handsome country house. Who was here, and what happened to them? Ooh. A garden overgrown with berry bushes, a wooden tesseled table set for a meal, chairs strewn with bones, a half-dozen skeletons, a red-breasted bird perched on a grinning cranium. It cocks an eye at you and bursts into song, a liquid, thrilling sound. It seems unperturbed as you approach to poke through the bones. No signs of violence, no fire, no bullets, no bites. These people died peacefully, sitting down at breakfast, as the surface sunlight spilled over them. Sunlight can kill at any time. The longer you remain here, the more danger you're in. So why did they stay? Perhaps they stayed because Estival isn't beautiful as anywhere in the Neath and 10 times as generous. It's a fine place for a colony. You could found your own pocket kingdom if you could do something about the sun. But what? What has the power over sunlight? What makes the impossible possible? To found a colony, bring something to Estival that can protect against the sunlight. You've gained one memory of a distant shore. Alright, south to the Empire of Hands it is. Finding all these locations is going to be real helpful as we plan trips in the future. Oh, no. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, that was one shot. That took almost 20 health. Those things are quite terrifying for a ship of our stature. Alright, where is this port? It's all the way on the other side. Kind of annoying. Alright, well, I'm going to apologize now. This is going to be a long episode because we are only about halfway through this journey. And it's been an hour since we left port last from London. So this will probably be a 3-hour episode. Port Stanton. Shore leave is not happening, but we can get rid of another Blemican. The Blemican disappears in the dense jungle. It should thrive in the Empire's cold humidity. You've lost one Blemican. Propagation is now 2. Flea-ridden mayor scratches himself on a chair made of crates, surrounded by boxes of long, rotten trade goods. As a 5-souled ape, he would be able to petition for membership of the court. For now, the trade embargo has left him trapped on the outside, a 3-souled overseer with no talent for order. Acquire fresh supplies. 20 echoes. Oddly, little of the Empire of Hand's natural bounty is edible. The monkeys will help you find edible stuff for a fee. This fuel is hefty in price. Excuse yourself. I sure would like to know how many hold slots I had left. I can't recall. But if this is any indication, that's 26, 29. We have some. Oh, we've gained 1 supply. Okay. Excuse yourself. Go to the Zeppelin. Turned away. Scouting trip, we won't be doing this, so perhaps not. Alright, no shops, no nothing. Off we go with 10 fuel. Do I want to go to King Eater's Castle? I think we'll skip King Eater's Castle and just head to Fathom Hold. And as I travel, we'll try to uncover some of this map that's still black. We're going to need more fuel very soon. We might get the fuel we need at the Fathom King's Hold, if we're lucky. Straight across. We have 8 cargo slots available. We'll be getting rid of another Blemigan soon, and also another fuel. That'll give us 10. So I don't want to get too close to that thing. The artwork of this game is so amazing. This port is one of the prettier ones. The Fathom King's Hold. Alright, lucky for us, we have Z stories, so we can descend for an audience with the king. We can also put a Blemigan ashore. We've gained 20 drowning pearls. It's dark and damp here, with many crevices where it can hide. The Blemigan should flourish so long as it avoids the Fathom King's notice. A gift from the Myceligian mother, the porter says dispassionately. The Fathom King will be pleased here for your trouble. You've gained 1 drowning pearl. We now have another propagation point. Descend to an audience with the Fathom King. Ask of a boon. We've gained 5 fuel. Compile a port report. No shops available here. Permit shore leave. I don't remember what this does, but it's usually bad. Okay, we've gained 5 terror, but lost 10 hunger and gained a fragment. So nothing exciting. If our hunger was really high, like 30 to 40, then it's probably more valuable. It basically saves you one supply for a little bit of terror. Trade for drowning pearls. Scintillac. 7 scintillac to get drowning pearls. We already have a bunch of those, though. Don't we? Yeah, we have 20. I'm not sure how many we need. Alright, off we go. And from here, it's off to the Melting Isles, where we could get more free supplies and a passenger. And then probably to Adam's Way to refuel. We'll send our Z-Bat out just in case there's something hiding in one of these little nooks that we haven't uncovered yet, but I'm not going to move outside of the straightest path. Just because okay, straight ahead and then slightly to the south of this island. Ah, we did find something. Okay, so there's a point of interest there. It might just be fragments. Notice that because we switched our engines out from a couple of episodes ago, and now that I'm running with the tireless mechanic who gives me slightly more fuel efficiency, we're getting a lot further on the same amount of fuel. A matter of luck. We'll take it. We were unlucky. That sucks. We've seen that one before, so... Ooh. This is not good. Oh dear. A grating roar below decks. One among your claymen cargo, missing something unusual like obedience, temperance, or a sense of humor. You had prudently stowed the clayman in your secure storage. Let it try to break free. You'll deal with it when it's exhausted, but it won't end well for any other claymen you have in there. We don't have the secure compartment because we don't have an aft slot. We can destroy it, a regrettable but tough challenge, 31%, or we can try to negotiate with our hearts. Let's give a risk for the hearts. Crap. A communications difficulty. The unfinished man listens intently to you, but then it puts its head down and charges like a bull. A Zailer is smashed like china. Regroup. Oh my, we're gonna have to keep doing this? Oh dear. Crap. Bullets are powerless, clubs barely more so. At least you've finished it yourself with a sledgehammer, not before it had wreaked havoc among your crew. You've lost 1 clayman marked for London, you've lost 1 crew. We're down to 4 crew. If we lose any more crew, we'll drop below 50% of our max, which means we won't be able to move at speed, and we are very, very far from home. We can pick up a passenger here. Is there anybody we can pick up? Compile a port report. Gather supplies. Eat, drink, and be merry. This would lower terror. This would also probably consume... maybe not. Seven Z stories. Some of the philosophers of the college have a grizzled air of old sailors, retired mariners, or pirates who come to avoid attention. Unpick the mysteries of the Z. Beachcombing. Ships come and go to and fro a mangrove college, often in secret. What might they have flung overboard? We have 14 supplies. Let's go ahead and do one of these other ones. Take a stroll along the beach. Perhaps the Z has brought you something. Driftwood. Something glinting? Just a glass bottle. A nasty glob of goo. It lies in the shingle like a discarded heart. Let's go for the glass. More drowning pearls. Okay. A tangle of seaweed and pearls. The stories there are about drowning pearls. They've never seen the inside of an oyster. Place one under your tongue and you can name the date of your own death. Don't place one under your tongue because they're transformed eyes of sailors lost at sea. Stories aside, they'll fetch a good price. Alright, let's go ahead and get on our way. From here, we could head down to Adams Way and purchase some goods and get a port report. Or we could head straight to Port Carnelian. I still need to go by the Isle of Cats and the Rose Gate. So maybe we head straight to one of those instead. How much fuel do I have? 11? I have more than enough to do that. Sure, let's go that way. So if I head to the Rose Gate first, then to Visage, then to the Isle of Cats, then to Port Carnelian, that gets us pretty good. And to be perfectly honest, I could head to Pigbote Island, but I don't really want to deal with that story right now. It's very complex and time-consuming, and this is already a long episode. I am, however, going to sail slightly to the north and try to uncover the last stripe of the map there on our way across. And if I so happen to find one of those whirlpool things, it might be worth diving and trying to see if we can get in the lane. It doesn't look like there's one here. There is a rock, so that's something. Ooh, and a boat. Looks like a rat boat. Alright, slowly but surely making good progress on getting this map uncovered. Rose Gate. We're going to try to get right in front of the port, so if there's any baddies right there, perhaps we can just avoid them. around this. And it's going to be right in that little nook where we'll drop our submarine. Too close. There we go. Should be really close to the port. And hopefully not really close to that eel thing that was right by the port last time we were here. Perfect. Alright, so we're going to work on the creation of the cigar. And we now have a straightforward challenge. We have a 100% chance of success with that. The dogged apprentice flicks through the book you handed him. It isn't long before he closes the book with a grin. This is exactly what we were hoping for. Tragic and hopeless. This should prove potent indeed. Thank you. Cultivating a bitter flavor. The taste of sharp chocolates. Alright, so the last thing we need is romantic literature. We need 3 romantic literature. There's only a couple places in the game where you can purchase this. The most noteworthy is the Khanate, but you need to get into the quarter that we don't have access to. So we're going to have to do some things for those people before we're able to do that. A straightforward challenge. I guess we should do this one as well. You set 3 skulls on the counter. One is missing its jaw and has a few overlong teeth. One is missing a patch of bone in the back. Brains either blown out or bashed in. One is still has an eye, not yet taken by the rot. The dogged apprentice grips your arm for support, transfixed. This is, yes, I think this is what we need. The taste of burnt rope. You've lost 3 lamentable relics. We're down to 4. Oh crap. I needed more of those. A Veils challenge. Do I have any Veils officers that are not working currently? I do not. Alright, I'll back to this then. I suppose it's an art in its own right, he says. Crafting an unkindness is still, dear God. What did you just write? He snatches the page away and reads. He covers his mouth and whispers through his fingers. Everything I tried writing was just a blunt cruelty, but that's a razor to the soul. His eyebrows raise, delighted. This will finish it off well, thank you. Harvesting bitter flavor. The dogged apprentice preens against the hearth, blazing at the back of the shop. We've only one last thing to do before our flavor is complete. Let's go and have a laugh. In the back of the workshop is a small cage surrounded by skulls. Inside, a once talkative Radis Faber sits in a bedding of cruel phrases. We need to overwhelm it with bitterness, the apprentice says. Then we harvest. Sneer coldly at it, pretend to weep, refuse to assist. It's not so talkative now, is it? Its old friends would thank you for making it less annoying, even if it's still ugly. Pretend to weep. Well, we've come this far. What did we want to do? overwhelm it with bitterness, huh? I guess the teasing's probably the thing that would make a rat most bitter. As you speak, the once talkative Rattus Faber does not stir. Only after you finish does it gaze at you through the bars, and shake its head slowly. The dogged apprentice lays his hand on your shoulder and squeezes it triumphantly. We've got it now. That's as much bitterness and contempt as it can hold. I'll remove the gallbladder in a moment. The master will be so pleased to have this ingredient. Such a bizarre quest. Is there anything else we need? Nope. Just the pages challenge and the romantic literature. We'll need to remember to bring that here. While we're here, I will spend a little bit, no more than 15. Sample a quality cigar. Lose 3 terror. Deliver supplies. You've lost 1 supply and gained 20 echoes. Take a pamphlet. Alright. Nothing else we need to do here. So off to Visage and then the Isle of Cats. Yeah, we can travel by Unterzee. Back to the surface, and to Visage. Only here to grab a quick port report, and leave. Straight to the Isle of Cats. We are moving now. Beginning to run a little bit low on fuel, but can buy some at one of our next locations, if we even think we need it, which we kind of don't. Alright, a gift for the Pirate King. Your patron is overjoyed at your return, eager to meet Leopold, are we? Courtesies due. Hand over your writhing and tear-stained cargo. 2 attendants drag the prisoner off to the rose garden. You do your best to ignore the screaming. Your patron tells you that it will take some time for your gift's memories to be harvested, and the reluctant honey collected. You should return later for your introduction to the Pirate King. You no longer have a prisoner. We have now increased our quality to 3. We gain 200 echoes and 20 terror. Well, that's slightly annoying. Compile a port report here. Again, we don't need to purchase anything here. It's too expensive. But we can swing around and uncover that last little square there. And then hit Port Carnelian. And now that our terror is above 50, we're going to have to be careful. But I still have plans to try to get to Vienna. And if we do that, we'll get rid of all of our terror, so. The problem is we're short on crew, and so we can't really do it without going to London first. Or at least somewhere where I can get more crew. Principles of coral. This is a bit of a problem. We're far away from the principles of coral. And we need every available slot in order to go to Vienna. I could always throw him overboard. He's worth like 100 echoes. Alright, let's work on our network. I need a judgment egg. Searing Enigma, or seek another opportunity. Guess we'll seek another opportunity. Gather a port report from here. Visit the tea house to reduce a little terror, maybe. That's only 20 echoes, that's not bad. No need to buy supplies, but we should definitely buy a bunch of coffee. $16 coffee it is. Alright, 5 fuel can definitely get us to the Iron Republic. We can probably visit the Grand Geode, but I'm a little hesitant. We can grab the port report. The problem is the dreadnoughts that patrol that area can be a bit tricky to get around. Also, our terror is going to go up a couple points, but that's fine. Compile a port report, and I can't afford to do this. If we lose one more Zayler, we won't be able to move at full speed. So we can't afford to lose anyone. Ow. So now we're just heading straight to the Iron Republic. And I don't mind using up our fuel to do so, because we're going to purchase more, but not a lot more. Probably just enough to get us to London. Even running lights on, that only takes 1 fuel, roughly. It's not bad at all. Yeah, our fuel efficiency is way better with this level of speed. Alright, 2 fuel is not enough. Ah, good question. This is the game where I started with no past, a past wreathed in mystery, so we don't actually have a character ambition yet, but because we started with that path wreathed in mystery, and we finished the Salt Lions shipments, so that the Salt Lions are no longer shipping saltstone or whatever it was, we got one of our legacies unlocked. So we should get a permanent buff to our next character. And it might be in our hold. I can't remember what it's called. It's a book that we picked up. Not the unread log. I don't remember. Is it in our journal? Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's the one that gives you 25 nails. So I'll discuss it more in detail when we get to the point where we actually going to use it. But the whole point of making my first captain wreathed in shadows was specifically to get that unlocked, because it's very, very easy to do. All you got to do is ship the Sphinx Stone to London a whole bunch of times. And then at the very end, there's a particular quest that we did the other day that unlocks the book for you. So, pretty easy. One of the easier legacies to get, and probably the easiest one to get at the beginning of the game. So we need enough fuel to get from here to London, and anywhere in between that we might want to visit. I have something like 4. Traveling from Grand Geo to Iron Republic took approximately 1. So that would take 1, 2, 3? That can't be right. Huh? Maybe it is. So maybe we can do this on 4 fuel. I suppose if we're careful, we can always run lights off if we get really in desperate need. And this is slightly closer than London would be. We can also hit Mutton Island on the way up. Yeah, let's do it. I'll run lights off and on. And keep my tear down. We might even run the coast this time around. It's probably still better to go in a straight line though, isn't it? Or as close to a straight line as we can. I guess the difference is we earn more terror going in a straight line, but we burn less fuel. Actually, we're down to 2 fuel. I'm going to run with lights off, and we're just going to go straight to the Kuman Canal. Yeah, I should have bought some fuel there. Oh well. I have no doubt that we'll make it with plenty of fuel left over. Try to avoid the baddies. Ah, tears. Your cheeks are wet. You think for a moment that it's sweat. then the sorrow hits you like a falling stalactite. You are weeping. You double over inconsolably. Last time I weeped, I had a better outcome. Gain 1 terror and 3 fragments. Okay. I don't remember what the other one does. I think we lose Salt's favor if we do the other one. The Cumin Canal. Gather reports, listen for gossip. Shops. I could buy fuel here, but do we really need to? Probably. Let's go ahead and try to make it to Button Island. I can get a fuel there for about the same price as I can get it here. I have plenty of supplies, so in a pinch we can try and sacrifice 2 supplies to make 1 fuel. Which often works pretty well. You do have a chance of failure, so you want to have more than 2 supplies to try to pull it off. You might have to roll a couple times to get it to pass, but I mean, at this rate, we could go straight to London. We'll go ahead and get our port report here, though. Quaker's Haven. Get the port report. Visit the hilltop, explore the shore. Nothing happened. Visit the hilltop. You've lost 5 terror. Well, that was good. No shops here. Alright, so we'll go from here. Desperate measures. Not at all worried. Didn't even take us half a fuel to get to the light ship. Purchase fuel for 20 echoes, or speak to the crew. Lost 5 terror, gained a Z story. What is our terror at now? 54? I've got enough fuel to get to London. Barely, but enough. That is what we call cutting it close, my friends. Offer assistance. 56% chance of success. A success! Your crew attempt to dissuade you. You've succeeded in an iron challenge. You've gained 1 tale of terror. You've lost 1 hull. You've gained 5 terror and 5 fragments. Good enough. Woo! Look at that. waiting for something awaits us to trigger. There it is. Nothing to hide. We don't have any honey and we don't have any Pirate King treasures. Breath of Relief. Collect our messages. Hand over the cargo. Alright, so we've got 3 fuel, 1 supply, 200 echoes. He took that back. Let's go to London and get the claymen off of our boats. We lost one of the claymen and several of our crew, so that 100 echoes is going to have to cover the replacement of some crew, which shouldn't be too hard. A new recruit, a new sailor for very cheap, 5 echoes. That puts us at 5. A straightforward challenge. That should give us 2 more crew. Good. Visit the Rose Market. What do they want at the Rose Market? They would like live specimens and copper long boxes. Let's go to our lodgings. Read the morning paper. Time with the family. It was a delight, but will it always be a delight? The sailor knows 2 words. If you give suitable presents to your child, they will gain Z fever. We've already done this part. Just enjoy their company, an evening in the parlor with your child and your sweetheart. Okay, we did lose 20 terror and gained 1 restful night, so that's good. Adventure. Nothing at the Brass Embassy. Nothing with her at the moment. I'll need to buy more lamentable relics. Let's go to our lodgings for a second and visit our study. Was it lamentable relics? Yes, we had 7 of them too. So we could increase our irons by 7 if we could get 7. We'll have to buy 3 more. We ended up turning in 3 at the cigar man's place, the Rose. And then we need 2 more of these, and we can build this one, which will give us 7 permanent pages to our character, and then an auxiliary item for 7 more. I don't think there's anything else we need to do here. So it's off to this guy. Let's check our hold real quick. We only have 8 spaces, so we want to make sure we don't turn in more than 8 port reports. Unless I'm willing to sell my dark drop coffee. Or some of my supplies, neither of which fetch a very good... Well, the coffee fetches a decent price here, but we need it if we're going to go where I want to go. We'll hold on to the strategic information, because 2 of those fetches a better price than when you combine them. So let's submit port reports. And let's look for new ones. So Aestival was a new one. That's worth 50 echoes. What else was new? The Untershroom was a new one. That's worth 50 echoes. That's 2. I don't think I've turned in this one before, because I constantly turn it into the Barnet. Yeah, we gained the favor, so that was a new one. That's 3. Does it matter which other ones we turn in? That's 4. Try to get some of the ones that are worth more money. Shimshander. That's 5. Got 3 more. Mount Palmerston, Godfall, and Venderbight. Okay. If we do any more, it'll force us to throw something overboard. Alright, and then last but not least, is there anything else we can do in London? Our hull is in rough shape, but not terrible shape. We could actually use these extra supplies to repair our hull, which we might do. Three of them would give us 15 hull, but 3 of them would also give us 66 echoes if we sell them in Iraq, which we could then use to just purchase the more expensive repairs. So that's probably better to always sell your supplies at Iraq if you're not going to use them for money, and then just use the money elsewhere. Seems like that's the better choice. Alright, what are we sitting at? 4,612 echoes, very similar to what we left port with. So again, we're sort of just floating even. We're not making any money with this trip, but I still have port reports to turn in that I haven't turned in. We also have 16 dark drop coffee to sell, the checkered character to transport, and 12 supplies to sell, down to probably about 6, maybe 4. So we're actually in pretty good shape to make our little loop again. The Principles of Coral is the only problem, and I may just have to ditch this guy to make that happen, but I'm not sure that I want to do that just yet. So let's pause and look at the map here. So if I wanted to make the little loop and I ditched him, we would go to Rack, sell a bunch of supplies, come back to London, grab the rest of our port reports, make sure we had enough fuel to get to the Cuman Canal, and then head to Vienna. I think that's a good way to end the video. So yeah, let's go ahead and kick this guy out in London. This cannot be sold in London. I wonder if we can throw him overboard once we get out to sea. If we can't, then we're going to have to go... Well, I guess I could sell 1 bag of coffee here, and that will replace his slot. Let's do that. And we'll just have to hold on to him. So if I go to the Wolfstack Exchange and sell 1 bag of coffee, and I now have enough space and then we can go turn in 1 more port report. Oh, submit a port report. Wither, sure. Okay. Make a little loop to Rack. We'll hit the Salt Lions on our way. We will make a fair bit of money. And I don't really care about gaining terror at this point because we're going to lose all of our terror once we go to Vienna. So I'm going to run lights off for this entire trip. Pick over the encampment. Oh, that put us over. And I can't get rid of him. Toss one fuel. Alright, down to rack. Compile a port report here. Consider the state of the city. Sell off supplies at 22 echoes apiece. And 5 left. That's probably okay. We're about to lose 1, so that'll put us at 4. That's fine. Alright, so then from here, do we head back to London, get the rest of our fuel, and head to the Cuman Canal? Seems like the best plan. So just straight back to London, I guess. Lights off. And a crab. Guess we can kill the crab. Butcher it for supplies. 2 more. Okay, 3 supplies for that. I don't know that that was worth it, but we can use those supplies to repair our hull, maybe. Terror's at 39. We can go ahead and give our news here again. More for the Z story than anything else. Alright, we'll finally make our loop to Vienna and make a bunch of money. This was a long 3 hours for a very small amount of cash, but we don't have any illegal cargo at this moment, so we're good here. Collect our messages. We could refuse the debt, but he will not ask us to take anything if we do. I suppose I will accept. Back to Polytheria. Alright. Luckily, that doesn't affect us at this point. Let's see. Read the paper. Visit with the fam. Lost 20 terror. That was kind of meh. What is our hold again? We have 9, so I can do 9 of these. So there's 1. Actually, that one doesn't give us a fuel, but this one does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, my hold is at 40. Let's repair. Alright, so now my hold is at 38. I can do 2 more of these. How many more do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 2 more. Dark Spectacled Man. Submit port reports. Demue, sure. Wisdom, sure. And that puts us at 40 with 22 fuel and 2 supplies, which is exactly what we need to get through the Cuman Canal. We may need to buy more supplies and fuel once we get there, because we'll use some of these up on our way, but I think that's it. There's nothing left for us to do here. There's nothing left for us to do here. And we used those extra supplies to repair our ship, so. Alright, let's go ahead and get this finished, and we will travel again with lights off, because we're going to minimize the amount of fuel that we need. The brisk campaigner collapses. One moment she's lecturing an apologetic sailor on personal hygiene, the next she's stretched full length on the deck. By the time you reach her, she's regaining consciousness. But the secret we can learn about her. Okay. I guess we'll pay with this secret. Ask her if she's been to the Elder Continent, hint at what might be wrong. You have your suspicions. Yes, it's called animescence. Animescence. Okay. In the Elder Continent, there is a flame that burns souls. My soul caught a light. It only smolders. Souls burn long and slow. But long before it is consumed, it will sizzle my brain and bake my heart. No, it's not dangerous to anyone else until I die. You should give my body to the sea when that happens. Yes, there is a little danger. I apologize deeply. I should have told you. I have been selfish. But you might have refused my service, and I hope, still, there are things out at sea that will save me. Alright. Ask her what she needs. A solace fruit, which we have. Butter salt, a strange catch, and a blemican. Alright, we'll deal with this later. So where are we heading? Straight to the Cuman Canal, right? As quickly as we can. Maybe picking up a crab on the way to save us a supply. Hopefully. Ah, there he is. Can we get him in time? It's going to be close. But I believe we can. Butcher that. Lights out. And back to Cuman Canal. Might be able to grab another one. Or some bats. Alright. Well, let's go make some money, shall we? There's our other crab. We won't have to worry about him because we're going to make it there before we use our supply. So it looks like we're going to have to buy one fuel from the Cuman Canal, which is a little bit more pricey, but that's fine. 2 fuels. My mistake. But we'll make a nice little pile of echoes and we'll bring back a ton of supplies that we're going to go sell at rack. Okay, I need to take a look at my hold and write some numbers down because last time we were here you weren't able to actually look at your hold while you're in Vienna, which is a pain in the butt. So basically, in an effort not to overstock on anything, I need to write down some numbers. So we currently have 20, 2, and 15. And then a 1. Okay. Alright, so I should be able to keep track of this as we are doing what we need to do. At the shops, I'll have to buy 2 fuel, which is fine. We'll listen for surface gossip, gather a port report, and head to where we're going. Okay, so each way we lose 10 fuel and 1 supply. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the 10 fuel that we lose on the way back doesn't seem to matter in terms of our hold space for some reason. So I can actually fill up with like close to 50 items, I guess? But you'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, first thing we need to do is go to Naples, which costs us 1 fuel. And from Naples, we need to go to Vienna, which costs us 10 echoes. And in Vienna, we can sell all of our 15 coffee, which nets us 1,200 echoes. And you can see our total is quite high now. Let's see. Dine with your friend at the bureau. We should do that. We have this. This gains 1 supply, 1 intriguing snippet, 1 moves in the great game, 25 fragments. So that's definitely worth doing. Go back to Naples. And from here, we can purchase supplies and fuel. Fuel is 15 echoes. This is cheaper than buying it at the Cuman Canal, where it's 30. And this is where we can buy supplies. So currently, unlock with 5 echoes. How many supplies do I want to buy? So we've used 1 supply and gotten 1 back. So I'm at 2 supplies again. I've used 10 fuel. I had 22. I've used 11 fuel and I'll use 1. So I have 10, but that 10 doesn't count, so let's purchase. I need to get to rack. I can't look at my map here. I can't look at my hold here. This is really annoying. I don't know why they've locked everything out. And I don't know why I have to purchase supplies like this. So now we're at 3. Let me purchase 1 fuel just to see where I'm at. So now I have 12 fuel and 3 supplies. 10 of the fuel doesn't count towards my total. And actually, I think it's 11. Or no, it might just be 10. Are we ready to go back to the shore from here? Yeah, this costs us 1. So 11 of the fuel won't. Okay. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. These supplies are very cheap at only 5 echoes apiece. Alright. Yeah, I wish this was more like a shop where I could actually purchase things in bulk or quickly, but it's not. We're going to buy about 35 of these. 35 and 5. Yeah, that should be good. $31, $32, $33, $34, $35 supplies, and then I need enough fuel. I need 16 fuel total. So that is 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, that should be the right amount to do what I want to do. So we're going to return to Arvis. That takes 1. That puts us down to 15 fuel. And then we're going to return below. That takes 1 supply and 10 fuel, which will leave us 5 fuel and 34 supplies when we get back, which should put us at exactly 40 cargo, which it does. So the math is a little weird, but I didn't realize that you could carry so much cargo because I was accounting for the 10 fuel on the way back, and you don't have to for whatever reason. The 10 fuel on the way back doesn't actually take up your cargo space. So, good to know. That means we have 5 fuel to get to Rack, and Rack is right there, so we probably don't even need 5 fuel. I probably could do this with like 2 fuel, and get a couple more supplies, but the 5 fuel will be enough. And now we have 0 terror, by the way, so that's also cool. And we're going to go through that last little block of the map that we haven't uncovered. And we're going to have a lot of echoes here pretty soon. Under the water we go. Ooh, we're in a current. Come on. Get out of there. And now that we're in Iraq, consider the state of the city, go to the shops, and sell all of these supplies. Alright, so let's sell down to 8 supplies. Let's gather a port report. And now we're sitting at 7,000 echoes. So you can see this little trip was very profitable. We made about, well, we had 1,000 echoes from the butcher, so we're really at 6,700 from 4,600, so about 2,000 echoes altogether. 2,100 echoes is what we made on that one little trip. We can do that a couple more times before they'll stop taking coffee. Quite a few more times, actually. I don't remember. It's a weird way that it counts it. So each time you turn in the coffee, you get a number between 1 and 5, which adds towards your total. And when your total hits a certain number, I arbitrarily say it's 50, then you can no longer trade coffee. So that's basically the way it works. So there's a limited number, but it's sort of random how limited it is. Sometimes you get really unlucky, sometimes you get lucky and you can do it for a long time. There's no real good way to keep track of it, I don't believe. Some of the things, you know, you have your little pop-ups that tell you how many points or qualities or whatever you have. But this one, it does not. I am going to go ahead and end the video here, however. We aren't going to make it back to London, unfortunately, because I have to finish the Blind Bruiser's quest to get all the way to Polythene. And I think what we're going to do is I'm going to take my 4 fuel that I have and see if we can't get somewhere where I can buy fuel cheaply. Obviously, the thing that we could do is basically run this route again, head down here to Port Carnelian, grab a bunch of coffee, and do the same thing again, and just sort of keep making that loop as best you can. But because we have to go to Polythene, I could buy... We know that we can buy fuel in Daunt, and I'm pretty sure we can buy fuel in Shimshander. With 3 fuel, we should be able to get across here if we run lights out, which will give us a chance to uncover this last little bit, grab what we need to over here. Then we need to head to Port Cecil, which is up here, drop off our little dude. Then we can head to Demuth if our terror isn't too high. We can get a bunch of free supplies there, and then maybe head back to London from that. But yeah, we'll go ahead and end the video now and make those decisions next time. So yeah, we've got 7,000 echoes. We actually have enough echoes at this point to buy a big ship if we wanted to, or purchase lots of other little trinkets and things. I think one thing that we may consider doing is upgrading our ship to a better ship, but we'll make that decision when we get back in the next video. So if you have any advice for me or any things that you would like to see me try to accomplish, please leave them in the comments and let me know. I'm happy to go ahead and pursue whatever quests that you guys are interested in seeing more of, and to the best of my ability. That being said, this has been The Nose Plays, and you guys have a wonderful evening.